Hello, thanks for joining me again. This week, I was lucky enough to get some help. I'd never met Sam before, but he saw my YouTube video, got in touch and asked if I needed a hand.
Hello, I've come to help out with this boat. I've got nothing better to do for the day, so I thought let's come and scrape some paint and remove old bits of boat in the sun. What could be better?
Thank you, I very much appreciate it,
There we
Sam.
go, that's all right.
I know what you're thinking. Why hasn't he put the roof on yet? Well, it's a mixture of not having had time and also a friend of mine told me he can come and help me, but he's not been able to get here yet. So hopefully next week. As the weather was good on the day I was working on the boat and the long range forecast looked good, I thought it might be nice to let Sam work on the actual boat. The first job was to remove all the plugs and then the screws. Most of the screws came out alright, but there was some that either spun in the hole or didn't spin at all. Sam is a joiner that works at Pendennis Shipyard, which is one of the two big shipyards down here in Falmouth, which is why I was so trusting to let him work on the boat. He'd taken the week off to fix his van, but apparently had found a load of rust and got depressed, so thought he'd come look at my rotten boat instead. For the most part it was pretty easy going, but unfortunately, as is often the case, someone had used Sikaflex to glue the rubbing strakes on rather than a traditional bedding compound. This meant going along the whole length of the boat with a multi-tool, which is pretty noisy and annoying, but does the job. All the screws that weren't moving were simply cut away with a hacksaw blade.
Rubbing streak now coming off.
Possibly in one piece.
I'd call it a success if it's any less than two. Well, one then. 3 pieces.
There we
That would be
go.
good.
One more screw.
Tried and tested wiggle. Oh,
We're free.
and it's off
The first of many pieces.
in one piece.
It felt good to be actually doing something on Skipjack. This is my son. He wanted to help with the Skipjack project, but I didn't think him sanding down the lead-ridden hull was a good idea, so we came up with this for a little project for him. He's going to restore Skipjack's nameplate. First he's going to clean out the letters, then he's going to paint them, then I'm going to sand the nameplate, and then he's going to varnish it. I thought he did a really good job. He's much more patient than I was at his age. I probably would have finished about 2 letters and then managed to spill the paint all over the kitchen table. He did have one little accident, but I'll sand that off later. The next morning I took it to the workshop and sanded it, and then brought it home after work. I also brought some varnish and mixed up a mix of 50-50 thinners and varnish. I hope you like ASMR. Not bad for his first bit of finishing work, eh? I was well impressed. A few more coats to go, obviously. So meanwhile, back on the boat, we started stripping the paint off the planks. I'm gonna strip the whole hull, but at this point I was just really curious to see how the hood ends were and get a general feel for how the planking was. From what I've seen so far, I think I'm going to be able to reuse about 80% of the planking. While you're watching two men scrape paint off a boat, I thought it might be a good time to say thank you for all the support that I've received. I was obviously hoping these videos would go well, but I thought it would take a lot longer to get some sort of following. So I am truly grateful. And if you do want to help the project but don't want to donate financially, just by viewing and liking and subscribing and sharing, you're really helping with the algorithm, which gets more viewers. So thanks again. So as the day was about to run out, I thought it would be a good time to stop and assess the planking. I was really happy with what I saw. Nice tight grained pitch pine, no rot at the hood ends. I was really happy. The other side turned out to be just as good as well, so that was a bonus.
Chat.
Sam is painting what we've exposed to not let any rot spores in.
Yep. Stop it from getting worse.
In the interests of symmetry and my OCD, after work the next day, I stopped by to take the starboard side rubbing strake off. I just wanted to say thanks for watching and thanks very much for all the messages of support that I've had. Also thanks to Mike Joy for bringing Bert Wallacott to my attention, a boat builder that was living and working in the Isle of Wight around the time that Skipjack was built, but I'd never heard of him. Bert emigrated to New Zealand in 1922 and had a long and interesting life designing and building wooden boats. Check him out if you've not heard of him. Also, for those kind souls that have asked, I've set up a Patreon account. Link is in the bio. I've also decided until I start working more than one day a week just to do fortnightly videos. There's only so much you can do to make a day's labour look interesting. Thanks again for watching. Bye!